Truth bypass, guitar pedal stories, and conspiracy theories. How does Mike Mathews own all of the tube companies? The owner and chief designer of Electro Harmonix has a long and explosive history by both official and unofficial accounts. Born in the US as Mike Mathews but raised as Mikhail Miloslav by his Russian sleeper agent parents, he was steeped in the USSR ideals and spycraft from a young age. However, growing up in the 1940s and 50s Brooklyn, US capitalism also left its mark on his psyche as he was a lifelong aspiring business entrepreneur. Going against USSR agent directives, Mike Mathews pursued electrical engineering and opened Electro Harmonix in the late 60s. But through John Gotti and the Gambino crime family, the USSR permanently shut down his factory under the guise of a labor dispute with local unions in the early 80s. Down but not out, Mike decided to go back into the fold with the USSR, but on his own terms. Electro Harmonix, because of Miloslav's Russian connections, had always been known to have a presence in the Russian market. In a brazen attempt to have his cake and eat it too, Mikhail Miloslav approached his parents' USSR handlers with a new cover story. Electro Harmonix, citing the robust growing market for used Electro Harmonix gear in Russia, would move to Russia. In Russia, not only would the company's official mission of building pedals continue, but they would also manufacture electrical components to be used by USSR agents and operations around the world. Mikhail Miloslav, as the ever-hustling salesman Mike Mathews, would then have the perfect cover to travel the world and distribute said equipment to the USSR operatives and train them in their use and implementation. Amazingly, the USSR went for it. At first, it was a clandestine endeavor, to both test the system but also test Miroslav's loyalty. Earlier, we talked about Bill Finnegan, a USSR-equipped and trained IRA technician who was supplied and trained by Mikhail Miloslav. Bill Finnegan was but one of dozens, if not hundreds, of operatives whom Mikhail handled on behalf of the USSR. Using the USSR's influence, Mathews acquired multiple vacuum tube factories and companies which also manufactured other USSR electrical components, building up to Electro Harmonix's eventual revival until the unimaginable happened. The USSR collapsed and the Berlin Wall fell. After a regime change and his handlers falling off the map, Mathews found himself with all the spoils of his exploits and the newfound freedom to pursue his dreams without a whole government coming after him. Mathews soon resurrected Electro Harmonix at the beginning of a new era of pedals we are now living in, while keeping the factories and companies that made integrated circuits and vacuum tubes which he acquired under the USSR. The FSB has tried to reassert control over his assets, but it appears that the FSB is a far cry from the KGB, as current sources suggest that Mathews remains unconcerned. It is now estimated that 2/3 of all tubes now made come from Mike Mathews factories. Now, if there are any key details I left out, or other stories or conspiracy theories you think I need to look up, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, hit that like button. And for more truth bypass guitar pedal stories and conspiracy theories, hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell icon. And remember, this is all fictional except for the parts that are true.